Hello YouTube, this is Charlie426 and today we have the review of the Gundam Lfrith Thorn. Now once again, this has been released out some time, but I was only recently able to get one because they were just too popular. They were sold out in Gundam base Korea, and once again, recently the Gundam Witch from Mercury series is having the issue of regarding scalpers, to the point where even Gundam base Korea are taking a little bit drastic actions these days. But anyway, I was able to finally get one. I think I will eventually get its other counterpart, which was called the Gundam Lfrith Thorn, I think. Yeah. And yeah, eventually I'll review that if possible. But for now, this one was actually my more priority because of its unique design. Alright, so from the series we did actually see it, I think what, 2 to 3 times I think so far. And yeah, it did show some combat, and yet nothing too heavy yet. It was, even the manual mentions this is actually used as like a support role, so yeah. Alright, so before we go into any articulations or anything interesting, let's go over the equipment or anything that you're supposed to get, so components. Alright, so first of all, what you get, of course, is obviously the Gundam unit itself. Definitely has one of the more unique designs in recent years. That has, rather than having long legs and short arms, this actually has the short legs and long arms, which is a very interesting combination. And then hand-wise, it's currently using the multi-purpose hands, and here are the stuff that you are supposed to be getting. So number one, we get a set of open hands for left and right, so that's always good. And then we get 2 blue beam saber effect parts. Now starting with the Witch from Mercury series, now blue beam sabers is now getting more common these days. And then we get its own unique shield, a very simple looking shield, and inside or behind it is the 2 beam saber hilts. Now, although in this unit actually there's 2 ways you can use the beam sabers. Number one is using the beam saber hilts. Number 2 is utilizing the built-in beam sabers on the arms, which I'll get into that later. And then here we have its main weapon. This is apparently called the beam diffuse cannon. So rather than being a typical beam rifle, this is more of a cannon type, and this is a widespread shot, so like a scatter shot type weapon, but in a beam format. And obviously that green part there is a sticker. Alright, and then finally here we have the sticker sheet. Now it may look like a lot, but once again, once you get used to it, it's not actually that much as you think. Like most of these large amounts are usually being used onto the back on the backpack area. So when you consider these things away, yeah, there's not much for the Gundam unit itself. Alright, so let me get off this stand and let's see what we got. There we go. So once again, a very short, stubby type design going on here. Now, typically we would have roughly about maybe 1.5 or yeah, I think a 1.5 taller, maybe 1.5 taller would be, or 2 times taller would be the norm of a typical Gundam unit. But once again, it's always good to have something. Oops, sorry about that. So it's always good to have something unique once in a while, because you know it breaks the mold, and then it does give out that. It does refresh our minds once in a while. Alright, so let's start with the head. Now the head, I do like the head design here. Now I'm pretty sure this will be different for everybody, because everybody has different tastes, and sorry about the dust. Now the head. Now I do like the overall sharp looking head going on here, and then the stickers are, which are pretty obvious. The eyes, the sticker, the black and red sticker that is on the antenna. Actually, give me a moment. There we go. And then the head camera as well. Now keep in mind the eye cameras, now these behind those green parts is actually a regular green part, so it's not exactly necessary to apply stickers there, and each eye has its own individual sticker, so keep that in mind. So head can go down. Oops, sorry about that. So currently it's moving with the joint a bit, so going down that much, and then oops, there we go. Up not so much. So as you can see, I tried to move it a little more, and then it popped out of the ball joint. But still, going 360 should be possible. And then we have another back head camera over there. No big deal. Alright, now once again here we have the chest piece. Now so this is a clear piece, as you can see, and behind it is a sticker. You can see the sticker has been applied and then covered up. So this will actually last a long more time than a regular sticker, because it's covered up and being protected. And on the chest here, these black areas, yes, sadly these are stickers. So you could technically color them, but once again, applying the silver lining will be much more difficult. So yeah, I think for those who are new to the hobby, just apply the sticker might be better. Or once again, if you bought this for customization purpose, go all out. Alright, now let's look at the arms. Now the arms are very, very long. Like At first, I'm pretty sure for those who are new to the hobby would have been very surprised to see a design like this. It may not be too appealing, but to those, maybe in a few years it will be, but still. So arm-wise, we have the main connection here, which allows typically it's the main connection is a ball joint, so you can see it can go forward and backward. But the joint itself is one kind of the similar ones that we've seen in the other Gundam units from the series. So you do have a little bit more movement, a little wiggle for forward and backward shoulder movement, and then going to the side is no problem at all. So going to 90 degrees to the side is no problem. And once again, these are one of those cases where the shoulder armor is a separate piece, so that can move around if you want to do so. So going a little bit more outwards is possible. So regarding that, 360 on the arm itself is possible, and then we have a nice bend going on here. Because the arm is so long, it does feel a little bit awkward to me, but still it works. Hands are your typical ball jointed hands, and here what I was talking about regarding the built-in beam saber. So you can actually pull these out, and then attach the beam saber effect parts and have a built-in beam saber, which is I do like the whole concept of like built-in weapons rather than having multiple weapons to attach or slap on or like, you know, hold. So yeah. All right, so that's that. So for the body, and then for the main body itself, you do get a little bit of wiggle for ab crunch forward and backward, side to side, not so much. There is a little bit of wiggle, and then you can kind of rotate 360 on the top body, despite how everything looks. Now, of course, be mindful with the backpack because it can collide with the back skirt or while rotating or other parts. Now, the backpack here is kind of interesting. So the way how this works is that we have a typical or a regular looking back section here. So we have 3 holes, but here is the backpack going on here. So this is how it works. So we have multiple joints here. So we have joint number 1 that can allow the whole thing go up and down like this. And then we have joint number 2, which is on the other end, which can move only just this part. So we do get extra more movement going on here. But once again, the way how the backpack works is that you have this thing, we have the middle, and then this is supposed to connect to the left side of the back. But once again, it's really up to your preference. If you want to slap it onto the right side, you can do the same thing by rotating it, or if that bothers you, you can always do it on the middle if you want to do so. But once again, it might collide with the back skirt armor, so you're gonna have to be a little bit more creative, so do something like this. But once again, really up to your preferences. And now, since we are talking about this is, believe it or not, actually called the phased array cannon. So apparently this is also used as a weapon. So far in the series, we've only seen these being used when the permit score has go up. At least I think gone up to like what, 3 or 4. Then this thing opens up, and this has multiple effects apparently. So you can see all the red stickers are here inside here, front and back. So that's already 8. There's another one here, and then on the inside you can see these parts here that uses the long stickers as well. So yeah, most of the red stickers that you've seen on the sticker sheet are going in here. Now here we have a red one, but it's your choice to use black or red. So and yeah, and apparently this also can be used not only as like a controlling device for you know what. This is also a weapon itself that can fire something, but I don't think we've seen that in the series yet, or unless I skipped on and unless I missed an episode which he did. But still, just wanted to point that out. And yes, I am highly aware where people are already like combining this and the to make like some sort of a combined version that makes more like a regular unit as well. So yeah. Now the legs. Now definitely the size are kind of interesting. Despite being so short, they also have this type of design, which does become slightly problematic going forward because it's actually colliding with stuff like the chest area, and then the sides are very thick to the point where it's actually colliding with its own design. So yeah. But then again, this was mentioned as a support unit. So this thing is not meant to do like radical movements and such. So it's supposed to be helping from behind and mostly being used like in airborne. I don't think this is going to be walking around on ground. But yeah, legs, it does have your typical movement, which it can, if it weren't for the design, it can go forward and backwards. But once again, because of these gigantic thick sides, it's not easy. You do get a side swivel going on here. And then bend wise, believe it or not, there is a leg bend. The white part is a leg bend. And then we have the feet, which is actually on a ball joint connection style. So yeah, we do have a nice decent pivot joint, and if you're not careful, it does pop out. So there we go. So you do have a pivot joint, and forward and backward is also possible. And then back skirt, once again, we have a gigantic back skirt with 3 gigantic thrusters. So definitely, and luckily at least this one goes up, moves up and down. So you do have a little bit of control. So one of the main things that it mentioned regarding this design is to have a better center of gravity and such. So yeah, I guess I'm no engineer or anything. So but then again, I guess having a balanced design is also a critical thing when it comes to like designing these kind of machines, I guess. Oh yeah, and regarding the leg, going to the side is technically possible, but not exactly straight 90 degrees, but you get the idea. Alright, so we've seen the basics of the unit. Let's see how it works with its own weapon. So there's no trigger finger hand, dedicated trigger finger hand. You can just slide these in both handles as well. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So here we have the first demonstration here. So once again, the beam diffuse gun, it's a giant gun, but once again, having long arms and then having 2 handles on the gun itself does help a lot. And I forgot to mention that the shield, all you need to do, it only has a peg here, so all you need to do is connect it to this hole as well. So you can see the regular handle, it's just your regular handle, and no trigger finger required. You can just slide it in, and then there's a second handle, and it works very well. Now the second handle does have its own movement, so you can move forward and backward, so you can definitely adjust if you want to do so. And thanks to that adjustment, you can definitely have a really one of those natural double hand posing with the gun here. So this is one of the most like best or simplified like style of having the double style, the double hand pose regarding with the large gun. So no problem going on here. And once again, I do suggest that you do invest on an action base, because this unit itself, it's not really meant to be walking around on ground or to be doing ground battles as well. So well done. Action-based connecting point is pretty much where you think it is. It's always on the bottom of the waist section going on there, so no big deal. Okay, so we've seen the main basics of the gun, so I think I'll be right back with the beam saber effects, and let's see what we got. Okay, I'm back. So here we have the final demonstration here. So once again, here we have the beam saber attached to its wrist area or arm area that has the folding gimmick. So once again, you do need to, when you're sorting it back in, you do need to push it in, because there is this locking mechanism going on here. So you have to push it in, and when you're pulling it out, you have to kind of pull it outwards. You have to push it inwards and then pull it out, so that the locking mechanism does actually, unlock. So yeah, it works perfectly fine, no big deal as well. And then once again, holding the gun with one hand is possible. It's not too heavy, despite how it looks. It's not extremely heavy as well. And once again, inside the shield, as you may have seen previously, the shield does actually hold 2 beam saber hilts. The problem is, to some people, is that I believe this has been an issue to some people, where the peg that connects to the shield is on the beam saber instead of being the other way around. So this may look a little bit bad, but once again, you do have the option to hold a regular beam saber as well. Of course, if it weren't for this handle, there are certain hands the overall handle can just slide in entirely. So I guess that is also a little bit of an extra help. So yeah, holding the beam saber with either way methods, there should be no problem as well. And then once again, opening up the backpack area, the phase array cannon is also no big deal as well. It's really up to your preference how much you want to open this thing up as well. So yeah. Anyway, that is pretty much it for the review. So once again, I am actually enjoying the overall story of the Witch from Mercury series, to the point where I do actually want to buy most of their kits. Of course, there are certain kits I just passed on because I wasn't really getting the feel for it. But once again, the more I watch, the more feeling I am getting. So who knows? I might actually get more kits in the future, as long as there's no scalper issue or the demand issue as well. Anyway, thanks for watching the review. This was the review of the HG Gundam Lfrith Thorn from the Witch from Mercury series. If you guys got any questions or requests, leave a comment below. I still have more stuff to buy and build and make reviews out, so please stay tuned. Until then, see you guys next time.